My project, a symbiotic dance with watercolor, was really born from this idea about pushing my growth edge with a new media. And I had no prior education in watercolor and little personal experience with it, but I wanted to explore the relationship of water with pigment. I felt profoundly and instinctually drawn to it. Something about its inherent fluidity just really tugs at my soul. So I signed up for 2 watercolor classes to build a strong foundation. Over the past 7 weeks, I engaged in approximately 55 hours of educational and personal exploration of the medium. My process started out with really learning the watercolor basics, and with that came just very basic techniques and trying out different special effects, learning how to do flooding and gradients, and also mixing color, as well as trying things like plastic wrap and alcohol and India ink and sea salt, and just seeing how these other medias interact with the watercolor itself in this really exploratory process, just to get that firm foundation to be able to move forward. From there, my art took on kind of a fun biomorphic expression, and it's something that I stuck with for a short time. And much like childhood finding creatures in the clouds, I found different life in like the watery pigments as well. And so it was really a fun exploration that felt kind of childlike and just really interesting to see what emerged from the pigment and watery surface in front of me. Vessels were another area of exploration. I have a special relationship to vessels as they were a common symbolic feature in my aunt's artwork before she left this earth. And their ability to create a holding space and container for water and for life are what really speaks to me the most. The vessels can be quite a thing of beauty by both function and design. So I spent some time exploring watercolor with vessels. I also briefly explored watercolor portraiture, and this portrait, artist portrait, is the result of about 5 hours of painting. Working with fluidity and shadow in the skin tones felt especially interesting. I hope to practice more with this area in the future, and I particularly appreciate watercolor portraiture that's less realistic and more of that fun creative play to it. And so finally, nature really began to emerge as a dominant force in my work. And at the same time, I was immersed in study about the climate crisis and feeling a lot of ecological grief. I've always felt drawn to water and nature. I grew up in rural Ohio on a 14-acre Christmas tree farm among thousands and thousands of trees. We had gardens and orchards, ponds, lots and lots of fresh grass, and an elaborately landscaped yard with tons of beautiful flowers that my dad would plant, and my mom had an herb garden. We shared that land with this beautiful old giant oak tree that was born well over a century before. And I spent most of my childhood feeling pretty peaceful and exploring that land and really connecting with the earth. Unfortunately, my teenage years turned turbulent and sadly traumatic, and I had to learn to survive and find my own path and really grow up way too fast. I think these experiences are significant because they've directly influenced my art and this love for watercolor that's emerged over this project. I really think that I'm connecting with the water inherent in watercolor, not only because of its direct friendship with the natural world, but also for its fluidity. I really resonate with water and its seemingly magical ability to find new pathways through the world when it's faced with an obstacle or a challenge. It can flow through small spaces and seep into the ground. It can carve a new path and even wear down rock. It can turn into steam and rain and snow and ice. It nourishes all life on our planet and is one of nature's most precious allies. Most beautifully, it can play with pigment and create beautiful works of art. My early experiences with nature and finding a new path in the face of trauma are two lenses that shape my worldview, as well as my ideas and my exploration with this watercolor medium and the subject matter itself, I think, that's emerging. Additionally, my deeply held concern for our unfolding climate crisis and the ecological grief that I feel at this profound loss of species and ecosystems was very apparent in the work that came forward. I'm really grateful for this project and for the structure that it gave me to be able to explore a new medium and really push my growth edge. I've discovered in this process that watercolor speaks so deeply to me, and I really feel like this is going to be my medium as an artist moving forward to really immerse myself in and create from.